In today's episode, the Ford Futura. Hello, welcome to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel here on YouTube, where we look at car brochures from around the world for the 1960s to the 2000s, but we sometimes go beyond those dates as well. But today is Friday, and every Friday here on Quarterlight we look at a Ford. Now, I say every Friday, but really YouTube really doesn't have a date or time, because you could be watching this video any time, but it was certainly recorded on a Friday and first aired on a Friday. So we're going to look at the Ford Futura. So let's have a look at that now. So here it is, today's brochure. So the Ford Futura. Bit of a note to start off with. I know absolutely nothing about the Ford Futura or many different North American cars. I'm more of an expert on sort of European cars from the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, but this one I don't know too much about, and I've never even seen one here in Canada, to be honest with you, although this is a Canadian brochure for 1977. So the Futura, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Futura. I think future is what they're trying to go with, and then we've got this weird sort of spaceship, weird idea, very strange idea for this front cover. It's only a two-sided brochure or leaflet, this one, so it isn't going to be a particularly long episode. Let's just zoom in on this main image. So zooming straight in on that main front shot, and you know, instantly it couldn't be anywhere else but North America. Very boxy, square shape, and that sort of like boxy, square grille to go along with it. Very 70s, very American. But like I said, the weird thing is this guy. I'm not sure what they're trying to show you. A future. I believe it's a spaceship or some kind of ship. I presume we're not being invaded by aliens, but very unusual that they put that in there as well. Anyway, let's read the text and we'll come back to some of the other images. So the text here says, a dramatic combination of styling and technology for 1978 and beyond Ford Futura. This could be the automotive future. Futura, a car with dynamic styling, yet room and comfort for 5 passengers. Dramatic in its performance, yet with fuel and cost efficiencies for the years ahead. In Futura, advanced engineering techniques like computer modelling, plus the use of high-strength, low-alloy metals, produce a remarkable automobile, one that is roomy inside while it is lean and trim outside. One that is fun to drive and fuel efficient at the same time. Now, from European eyes, of course, this looks far from a fuel efficient car, but you know, 70s, certainly the American car is starting to get in much smaller. Unusual styling though, I don't know how I feel about it overall. 2-door, and this sort of very North American sort of styling of this sort of area, which I always think looked a little bit peculiar, but obviously that was the styling of the time. And these very typical sort of hubcaps, which also look a little bit unusual for European eyes. But anyway, moving down, and then we have a look at the interior, and if you look through those windows we can see it's sort of like a skyscape type design with the stars, I guess going with that Futura design. Actually, the seats in the interior actually look very nice. It does look a very comfortable place to be. Now let's turn the brochure over. So on the next page we get the rear shot of the car, then we get standard equipment, optional equipment, comfort and convenience options, and various brochure garb. So like I say, it's not going to be a long brochure, this one. We'll start at the rear image, then we'll start looking at the standard features. So that is the rear. I quite like the rear lights actually, with all those sort of segments in there. Looks something quite nice. Badging, we get a very simple Ford badge to one side. And then the badge itself, Well, it's quite hard to make out. It's very hard to clear that picture up. I think it says Fairmont rather than Futura, so it would be the Ford Fairmont Futura would have been its full name. So the standard engine is a 2.3 litre engine, which would have been a relatively small engine for the North American market. A Dura-Spark ignition system, rack and pinion steering, front disc brakes, 4-speed fully synchronized manual transmission, again a little bit unusual, full coil spring suspension, sporty front bucket seats, deluxe wheel covers, cut pile carpeting, special sound installation package, unique bright grille with quad rectangular headlamps, lower body side bright vinyl insert moulding, deluxe seat belts, paint stripes, body side and wrapover roof, bright belt with window frames, interior accent group, wraparound tail lamps, hood ornament, bright left hand mirror, non-remote, and an inside hood release. But we can option that up a bit because that does seem like I say, a small engine and a manual as well seems like an unusual pick for the North American market. But we can option that up to a 3.3 litre 6-cylinder engine, or even a 5 litre V8 engine. That would have been quite the vehicle if you spec'd it with a 5 litre. Select shift automatic transmission, I'm sure was a popular one to go for. Floor mounted shift selector, power front disc brakes, variable rack and pinion power steering. And then we get the comfort and convenience options of AM, FM radios, AM, FM cassette or 8-track tape players, air conditioning, tinted glass, convenience and interior decor groups, wide sidewall tyres, bias ply or steel belted radials, raised white letter, steel belted radial tyres, wire wheel covers, which were the ones we saw actually, weren't they, and cast aluminum or aluminium wheels, so you could get alloy wheels on there as well. And really for the North American market, I'm sure a lot of people would have ticked a lot of those boxes for the optional equipment there. Here it tells us the measurements. I'm not going to go through it all, but certainly pause the screen if you want to read through all that. It then goes on about option availability. Some features presented are optional at extra cost. Some options are required in combination with other options. So I'm sure those larger engines probably came standard with the automatic transmission, and possibly some of those features were probably involved in some kind of package. You pick one and actually there's 3 other things that come with that. It says availability of some models and features described may be subject to a slight delay. Ask your Ford dealer for the latest information on options, prices and availability. I don't know if they weren't in the showroom. Usually with these vehicles you tick all the option boxes and then you're on a waiting list. And obviously if you tick some really unusual options, it obviously takes longer to arrive, but I think in most cases you just pick what's at the dealer's forecourt, to be honest with you. Product changes. Ford Motor Company of Canada Limited reserves the right to change specifications anytime without incurring obligation. Pretty much see that on every brochure, but it is a reminder that this is a Canadian brochure rather than an American brochure. There we see the full name, really, the Ford Fairmont Futura, the Ford badge, and then at the bottom we get various corrosion protection packages. I don't know what they were like for rust, but if there was anything like European cars, 70s cars had very big rust issues. So you did see a lot of manufacturers offering various different corrosion protection warranties, but a lot of the time you had to jump through hoops to actually meet the protection. It goes on to say, what have we got here? Exhaust system excluded. The basic 12 months 20,000 kilometre warranty covers corrosion other than perforations that are due to defective factory materials or workmanship. So there's so many clauses on these corrosion protection that most of the time you didn't meet it, or they found some loophole anyway. At the bottom there, printed in Canada, it looks like 1977. So there we go, a quick look at the Ford Fairmont Futura. in 1977 for the 1978 model year. Any memories of these cars or more information, because I don't know a great deal about them, please do add them in the comments. Always very interesting to hear more. But thank you so much for watching today. We'll end as we always do. If you've not done already, please do consider subscribing. It is all completely free. You'll never be charged to subscribe. So hit that subscribe button now, and also click the like button too. I'll add a couple more boxes here for other videos we've done, because there's over 600 in the 600 videos, I should say, in the Quarterlight archive. So lots and lots of hours of things to have a look at. Appreciate those who do go back to the older stuff. It's really appreciated. But thank you so much for watching today. Please do take care. We'll see you again very soon. All the best and goodbye.